You ever try to send a secret message? For thousands of years, kings, queens, generals, they all relied on them. Their power, their armies, depended on keeping secrets. But what happens when those secrets get out? Well, we're going to dive right into that. Hidden history, that secret world of communication, using Simon Singh's fantastic book, The Code Book, as our guide. And that quote? It just nails it. This whole story is about a relentless, high-stakes battle of wits that's been going on for centuries. It's basically an intellectual arms race where the fate of entire nations and even the lives of monarchs have hung in the balance. Simon Singh frames this whole history as a kind of evolutionary struggle. So think of it like this. A code maker invents a new, stronger code, and for a while it seems completely unbreakable. It thrives. But then, a code breaker finds a chink in the armor, a new way to crack it wide open. Suddenly, that old code is useless, and a new, more evolved one has to take its place. This cycle, this constant battle of creation and destruction, is what has pushed the entire history of secret communication forward. So let's meet our two fighters. On one side, you've got the code makers. They practice cryptography, which is really just the art of hiding information. And on the other side, you've got the code breakers. They practice cryptanalysis, the art of finding that hidden information. One team builds the lock, the other team figures out how to pick it. And their first major showdown was over a surprisingly simple invention. Yeah, the first lock that was used all over the place was actually pretty simple. It's called the substitution cipher. The idea itself was really straightforward, but man, for centuries it was incredibly effective. This method was so powerful because it was so simple. Take the Caesar cipher, which Julius Caesar famously used. You just slide the whole alphabet over by a set number of spots. So if your secret number, your key, is 3, then A becomes D, B becomes E, and you just keep going. Your secret message, I came, I saw, I conquered, turns into this total jumble of letters. Looks impossible to read, right? And that was the huge challenge for the early code breakers. I mean, if you don't know the key, if you don't know the secret number is 3, how could you ever hope to unscramble that mess? For a long, long time, the answer was, you couldn't. But every lock has a weakness. The weakness, it turns out, was hiding in plain sight. It was in language itself. The big breakthrough came from Arab scholars back in the 9th century, and it was called frequency analysis. And this changed everything. Instead of seeing a code as just random letters, they saw it as a puzzle of statistics. They figured out that every language has a kind of fingerprint. In English, E is the most common letter, by a long shot, then T, then A. So if you look at a scrambled message and you see one letter showing up way more than any other, well, there's a really good chance that letter is just a stand-in for E. And just like that, the codebreakers had their skeleton key. And believe me, this wasn't just some fun academic puzzle. We're talking real life and death consequences. Back in 1586, Mary, Queen of Scots, was locked up by her cousin, Queen Elizabeth I. Mary used a substitution cipher to plot an assassination, but Elizabeth's spy master got his hands on her letters. His codebreaker used this exact method, frequency analysis, to read every single secret word. The decoded messages were undeniable proof of treason, and Mary was beheaded. A queen's life was lost, all because of the statistical fingerprint of her own language. So for hundreds of years, the arms race just kept going like this, more complex codes met by smarter attacks. But then, computers and the internet showed up, and they didn't just speed up the race, they created a totally new, totally bizarre problem that changed the entire game. Okay, so here's the new puzzle. For most codes, both the sender and the receiver need to have the exact same secret key. Back in the day, you just sent a trusted messenger to deliver it. But how do you do that online? You can't just email the key to your friend to lock down your messages, right? Because any spy could just grab the key first. This was called the key distribution problem, and it honestly seemed like it might be the end of the road for digital privacy. The solution that they came up with was just a stroke of pure genius. And this analogy makes it so clear. Imagine Alice wants a secret message from Bob. Instead of sending him a key, she sends him an open padlock. Bob writes his message, puts it in a box, and snaps Alice's padlock shut. Then he sends the locked box back. Now here's the wild part. Even Bob can't open that box anymore. Only Alice has the one unique key that opens her padlock. The key they sent in public, the open padlock, wasn't secret at all, but the key to open it stayed completely private. And that, right there, is the revolutionary idea we now call public key cryptography.
Everybody gets two keys, a public key that you can give to anyone in the world, and a private key that you guard with your life. Anyone can use your public key to lock a message and send it to you, but only you can use your private key to unlock it. It completely solved that impossible key distribution problem.
Okay, so this all might sound a little abstract, codes and keys and historical plots. But this ancient war between code makers and code breakers has a massive direct impact on pretty much everything you do online.
The scale here is it's staggering. Every single day, something like $6 trillion worth of global transactions, we're talking banking, online shopping, everything, are all secured using this exact technology. The entire modern digital economy is basically built on this idea of public and private keys.
So the next time you buy something online, or you send a private message, or you check your bank balance on an app, you are personally using the direct descendant of that ancient struggle. You see that little padlock icon in your web browser? That's public key cryptography right there, doing its job, all thanks to this eternal arms race. But you gotta remember what this is, an evolutionary struggle. And the second one side gets an advantage, you can bet the other is already working on its next attack. This war is far from over. The next great code-breaking weapon is already on the horizon, quantum computers. They have the potential power to just shatter the mathematical locks we all rely on today. So in response, a new generation of quantum cryptography is already being built to fight back. And that leaves us with the big question. As this ancient race heads into a wild new quantum era, who's going to win the next round? The code makers or the code breakers?